Madrid is fascinating. It's a large city with lots to discover.
Okay, welcome to Plaza de la Villa, probably the most beautiful square of Madrid. Here in this little square we can have the representation of 3 centuries, 15th century, 16th century and 17th century. This building we have right in front of us is the house of the Lujanes, a very powerful nobiliary family, and is known to be the oldest civil in terms of house, building of Madrid. The Tower of Lujanes, which is right here, is where Francisco I de Francia was kept prisoner after the Battle of Pavia by the King Charles I or Charles V. The building we have over there, it's a very great example of Gothic plateresque. It's 16th century, and it was the house or the palace of the Cardinal Cisneros. Cardinal Cisneros was a very powerful man. He actually, some people said that back in the time when the kings were here, he was even more powerful than the kings. And he is one of those persons who have made big efforts in Spain to set up universities. Actually, the major university of Spain, Salamanca, and the one in Alcalá de Henares, he was one of the ones who make the thing happen. And right behind me here, this is an example of 17th century building. This is Madrileño Barroco of Madrid. And if you remember Plaza Mayor, it has a very similar looking. In the 17th century, this building was made to be meant the city hall, which is been until recently. 5 years ago or 4 years ago, the city hall moved from this building right to another building of the city. Nowadays, the building is under construction and they will be doing a museum out of this building. So what is the interesting part of this square? That you can walk in just 3 buildings right next to each other through the history of Spain, and you can clearly tell what is 15th century because it looks way more ancient, the use of the brick, and it's more plain, plateresque, which is a Gothic with more windows, more open, it reminds of Italy, and Baroque, which has as a typical thing the blackboard rooftops, the Barroco of the city of Madrid. This fellow over here is Don Álvaro de Bazán. He was a sailor, and he was very known for defeating the Turks in battle, Spain against Ottoman Empire.
The Grand Boulevard is filled with parks and museums, such as the Prado Museum. I'm so excited to be here in Madrid, in the center of town, in the Botanical Gardens. It's absolutely gorgeous. The Botanical Garden is a large urban park in the heart of the city. It's filled with greenery and flowers and fountains and statues. You know, Madrid is an incredible metropolis. It's huge. There's lots of history, lots of churches, lots of great food, and it's international. The people come from everywhere and they mix and melt so well together. When I think of coming to Spain, I think of Iberia Airline because they are the best and they're the national airline, and the business class is unbelievably comfortable and the cuisine is absolutely delicious. Carlos III created the Botanical Garden.
The location we are right now is the very origin of the city of Madrid. Today we have the Royal Palace, but if we go back to the history, to the year 800s, in 811, Mohammed I was the Muslim king who came in Madrid and built the first Madrid city that we called Madrid. Madrid means city of rivers and water, because underneath the city is a lot of water. Here behind where the Royal Palace is right now is where it was located, the Muslim fortress, and around the palace it was where the Muslim wall was surrounding the city. On the year 1180, Alfonso VI, the king of Castilla, came to Madrid and conquered the whole city. Through the years, Madrid will become Christian, and here from the Muslim fortress it will become Christian fortress. It's what we call Alcázar. Toledo has a beautiful Alcázar as well. Madrid used to have an Alcázar until 1734, when the Alcázar burned down to flames and it came to ashes. So what happened? Our first Bourbon, the King Felipe V, when he came to Madrid, because he was coming from France, he thought that Madrid should have something that represents France. So he decided to build this palace to be one of the greatest palaces ever made. The palace itself is being built from 1735, and it took around 8 years to build. It has 1,800 rooms. But the funny thing of this palace is that actually no king has ever lived here. Charles III lived here for a few years, Alfonso III has lived here for a few months, and the Prime Minister of the First Spanish Republica also lived here, but for a little time. So what is today this palace? This palace today is a museum, and it's also a building where the politicians gathered together to talk about the things. Anyway, as you see, on top of this palace there are some sculptures that represents the kings of the Godo times, the Visigothic kings who came in Spain around the year 400 and 500, who fought against also the Muslims. The palace is being built by Filippo Juvarra and Juan Bautista Sacchetti, Italian architects, and also finished by Sabatini, another Italian architect. The whole palace looks in classical style based on the architecture of Italy. And today we have a great example, a great palace that if you come to Madrid, it's a place that you cannot miss. You will have to come and visit.
You know, Madrid is a fascinating destination. There's so much history here. There's so many different little pockets where you can discover all kinds of wonderful things, even modern museums. I am so excited to have had this experience. You know, you only live once. My world is your world. So remember, get up, get out, and travel!
Aquestas noites tan longas que Deus fixo en grave día por min porque non as durmo e porque non as facía no tempo en que meu amigo.
Madrid is the capital city of Spain, and it's a never-ending sleepless city with lots of adventure. Look forward to seeing you next week. So long for now.
Porque as fixo Deus tan grandes non poido eu dormir coitada e de como son sovexas que